Hey, I'm Reggie Ponder, the Real Critic, and this is the Real Critic Roundtable, where black critics come to discuss, debate, and have some fun. Man, I think lately we've been having a whole lot of fun, but we got some things to discuss and to debate today. And I have a great panel as usual. I want to start off with she's not really a newcomer. She comes in and out when she can. We have Mercedes Springer in the house. Welcome, Mercedes.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. Tell everybody your sites and where people can touch base with you.
I'm at She Critiques on all platforms. That's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. She Critiques.
And how you spell that? Cause y'all be trying to come up with these spellings. I'll be like, huh, what?
CHICCRITIQUS. She Critiques.
Good, good stuff, good stuff. And then as usual, we got Sean Edwards in the house.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Sean Edwards, Fox 4 News, Kansas City. And I can't wait till we discuss how Disney finally produced their first blaxploitation movie because they went full pimp yesterday.
Whoa, whoa, all right. And then going straight to my girl Katya Woods in the house.
Hey everybody, Katya Woods, Couple Soul Show, Disney, that is Sean. We good. I like getting my screeners on time. And our relationship is beautiful. I enjoyed Investor Day yesterday. And basically, if you took nothing else away from that, is Disney's like, you gonna pay for this Disney Plus. You are going to give us this coin if you want this content. So HBO Max dropped their hammer and Disney said, hold my beer. We got better.
Wow, wow. Well, we actually really do have a lot to talk about, and so when we get into the discussion section, obviously you guys can throw in some stuff that I'm not going to ask about, so please do so. As we get ready to get into our movies, we got a number of them that we want to get through, and the first one I want to Sean, I'd actually like for you to introduce this one because I wasn't gonna watch this one, man. You do this to me every freaking week, and this is I'm Your Woman. Tell us what this was about and what you thought about that.
I love this movie. It's a movie that takes place in 1970s. It's about a woman married to a scumbag husband who puts her in a precarious situation with some really bad people, and she ends up on the run. But I love how this movie is just full of like twists and turns that you don't see coming. I also like the fact that this movie very slyly and nimbly deals with feminism and racism without beating you over the head. And this was one of the bigger surprises for me this year. Man, this is a stunner of a thriller. It gets a little violent, but it's all pretty digestible. But I love this movie.
Wow, so that's really interesting, Sean. I thought that they did a whole lot of things right on this one, but I didn't love this one. I thought that if you were looking for a mystery, it was there. If you're looking for the thriller, that it was there. That they took this small kind of issue and blew it up on the big screen, but they didn't make it as interesting for me. I wasn't like full in. I didn't care for him in the first place, for the husband in the first place. So
I don't think you were supposed to.
right, right. So I went going on the journey. I'm like, and so what? Why? What you think about this one, Mercedes?
I'm gonna have to say, I thought it was a decent film. I say that because the pacing was just a little bit too slow for me. Just a little bit. I feel like the build-ups leading up to the bigger scenes were just a little too slow for me. And I feel like I've seen this story before.
Wow.
Just lacked originality for me. We've seen Viola Davis do this with Widows. Like it lacked that originality for me, and I couldn't buy. And it was cool to watch. I didn't love it.
Wow, so that's interesting to me because I'll kind of maybe I'll be on Sean's side for a second on this one. I actually thought that it was original. I thought that they had some good twists and turns. Sean, speak to that before we
Well, no,
touch.
yeah, I thought it was too because it's a now the trope you've seen before, but they reversed the POV, which is what made it different.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
give you. I feel like for me, it's like Viola Davis just did this and
Right.
Widows.
All right, Katya, what you think about this one?
Hey, I'm with Mercedes. I did not love this film. I felt this woman was really super dumb. We talked about like, I need women to catch on. Like, the moment you started realizing that you were not married to who you thought was married, like, the moment, like, I'm not going to give it away. The beginning, like, the kid, hello, you're not, even prior to that, like you didn't think about like how these bills got paid. I mean, I know this takes place in
A
a
lot of
different
women
time.
don't.
I mean, I know this takes place in a different time where women were more like, okay, as long as my lights are on, there's food in the refrigerator, I'm good. But after the first 30 minutes, you kind of knew you were in some mess.
But see,
and she just made the decision she made in this movie made me want to pull my hair out at how dumb this woman was. Like at no point, I'm just like, the other woman was with the ish. Like she got it. And I'm just like, you're surrounded by people and people are, and also I felt a little bit like Black people once again came to the rescue, are sacrificing themselves for this woman, and she is not picking up the pace and getting with it. Now, it is a good looking film, but again, I'm like, when word came out about this film, and also, I mean, that's half my fault because I got to get better about stuff like that when people are hyping something out, and then you watch it and you're like, I don't care about that. Here's the thing is, I walked away from this film. I didn't care about none of these people, especially her.
See,
I cared more about the stars than I do her.
That's where I came out. I really didn't care about them, but I think that it had all the ingredients. So I actually see why, Sean, why you liked it, because Katya, you're right. It looks good. It definitely has some stuff happening, and the Black folks in it, they were interesting as well. So I see how you like this, Sean. Defend this one as we move on to the next.
Can I just say one thing? If I'm the Black person in that movie, I'm not risking my life for somebody that dumb. If you don't catch on after we done been through this and I done gave you the instructions on how to survive, peace out. You on your own.
Sean.
In the lead character, she was supposed to be sort of clueless. That was the whole point of it. And I mean, and speaking on like not knowing what to do or depending on certain things or not reading the situation. I mean, there are women like that today. I mean, it happens all the time. There are women that are so codependent on their spouses or significant others that when something happens, they're totally clueless and don't know how to function. That exists right now today on December 11th, 2020.
Yeah. Well, for me, this is like I'm not recommending this one, so this is not a watch it for me. Mercedes.
Is it a watch it? If you got a boring night at home and you got some extra time, you could throw it on. It's pretty boring to everybody. It's long. It drags out a little bit for me though.
All right, Katya, watch it.
Yeah, watch it.
No, there's better versions. Go watch Widows.
All right, and Sean.
Yeah, watch it. I liked it. Liked it a lot.
All right, excellent.
4 out of 5, baby. 4 out of 5.
Oh, 4 out of 5. All right. Hey, he's giving it a high score. Excellent. So then let's talk about Katya. I'd like for you to introduce Sound of Metal for us.
Now that's a good movie. It's about, this guy who's in a rock band. It's almost like the White Stripes, him and his girlfriend. They're like in a hardcore rock band, and because of what he does, he's a drummer, he starts to lose his hearing to a point where he can't hear anything else, and how he struggles with that, being deaf, how he navigates through that. And it's beautifully done. Kudos, salutes to Riz, who really pulls you in. Kudos to the sound team, because we're getting, none of us are deaf, right? So for you to be able to understand how he's now completely deaf, they did a really, really good job in helping you understand what he was facing. I think they also did a great job in pulling in the deaf community. Again, I'm not disabled, so I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't think they made it like a caricature, you know what I mean? But there are moments in this film that are beautiful and they draw you in, and we do care about him and we empathize and we are on this journey with him. And this is a movie that's been out there since Sundance, right? So it took a minute for the rest of the masses to see it. And I'm happy to say that rewatching it after seeing it at Sundance, it holds up. And it's really an abomination that we're talking about all these mediocre performances, but we're not talking about Riz. I mean, it takes a lot, I think, for an actor to pull you in without words, body language. We understand his struggle, we empathize. And also when he's sitting there, right? And he is comfortable more, and now he's becoming more comfortable with silence than sound. It's gorgeous. And I really, really like this film. And I hope we push for him, because for number one, he's a Middle Eastern man, he's a Muslim man. Number one, it's just a beautiful performance.
All right, Sean, what you think about this one, man?
No, very strong movie. It's well directed. The craftsmanship in the movie is incredible. Creating that sense of where he's at in peril of losing his hearing was beautifully done. Riz Ahmed's fantastic. He's actually generating quite a bit of buzz as an Oscar contender. He's probably the saddest person on the planet that Chadwick Boseman died, because Chadwick Boseman's death is going to snatch his Oscar away. But I like the movie a lot. Another 4 out of 5. It's a banger. And I love that Riz went for Robert De Niro. He taught himself sign language and taught himself how to play the drums. That's commitment to a role.
Yeah, I Mercedes, I'll say mine next.
I agree all across the board. I mean, this guy is phenomenal. He was something to watch on screen. I really couldn't take my eyes away from him. And the story was intriguing. I've never seen something like this before. So it got me there, from the perspective of a deaf person, how he does, what he's hearing now, all of that. I agree with everything that they've said. I think they've said it all. This is a 4 out of 5 for me as well.
So yeah. I like this one a lot as well. And I'm so glad, Katya, that you said shout out to the sound people, because what they did with sound in this really made me feel what he was going through. And you said this as well, Sean, is that there was one point where you would hear the muffles like, and you're like, that's what he's experiencing. And the fact that there is a community for people who are trying to stay sober, of deaf folks, and to go into that's a whole different, they just flipped the whole script. Flip the script like it wasn't anything. And I like the fact that they showed that the deaf community, they don't think that they're handicapped. They're like, this is how we roll. This is what we do. We live, we love, we laugh, we have fun, and you're gonna have to get with it, because we're talking to each other. I thought that was cool.
Let me say too, because I love the way this was shot. Like Sean touched on it a little bit as well. That one scene in particular when the girlfriend is leaving, the way they shot that was almost like reality television. Like maybe they used a steady cam, because they were just all into it, the movement of it, and it flowed so well. It went well with his distorted reality, almost like things going around. So the way they shot it just went perfect for what he was going through.
They actually did a really good job, and just that's a smart script. But I think, Sean, your point about the director had to really make that come to life, because there was a lot of nuances that had to happen there. Speak to that.
No, it's a great job of directing. I mean, you can tell that he fully immersed himself with the deaf community. Cheat sheet here, cheat code. I had a chance to sit down with the director for about an hour, so we had an extensive conversation. But the deaf community was heavily involved every single day of pre-production. They were right there on the set every single day and right there in post-production. So the members of the deaf community were heavily involved in every aspect of the filmmaking process. So that helped. And he had a really, really close relationship with Riz Ahmed. So that helps when you have a director who has an extremely close relationship with the lead. It really helps for you to be able to tell your vision. But it's a great job of directing. He should be mentioned, in terms of, best director for the Oscars. I mean, he doesn't really have a shot at it, but he should be in the conversation.
Hey, Katya, last word on that, because last word on that, because I see you shaking your head.
I mean, my thing is about the DJ needs to get itself together about putting its arms around people that are doing good work, not people that are popular or that they're cool with. Like,
it's not that. There's a lot of great. There's a lot.
Yeah, but it's just the DJ is a mess, because we're still women are not. I disagree with you, Sean. The DJ is a mess, because if the DJ was better, we wouldn't be having conversations still about where women are, where Black people are. So they have work to do, and I think. The other thing that I do love about this film is that, this film had some issues as far as getting the financing. The director spoke about that. And he was very aware that how important of a film it is. And he was like, if you're not going to treat this with respect and reverence, even though I could use your money, I'm not going to take your money, which is also something that very rarely happens in Hollywood, where people are like, I don't care, I just want to get my stuff done. And again, I mean, as much as buzz that Rez is getting, he's not getting enough buzz, because when you look at these lists, which make me want to rip my hair out, he's on my list, he may be on your list, but I need us to do better. This award season is really gonna, it's gonna expose a lot of people. Let's just say
he's actually doing fairly well. Riz on.
No, he's not doing well enough, because, like I said, I'm looking at these lists, and it's not him. He's doing the press. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing the Q&As. He's doing the FYCs. He's campaigning as well as you can during this season. But I need us, like, it's, you don't have to like somebody, you have to, you know what I mean? I just need us to understand we're not in high school anymore. If this is really about the best, then let's talk about the best.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. I don't care if the movie is little or great, or $200 million. If we're talking about the best, then let's talk about the best. And we're not talking about the best. Like, it really is. And it's some of these people we're in organizations with, and I really am looking at them sideways and being like, you're full of crap. I stand on that, but this is a beautiful film.
I feel you, Katia. I really do. I feel you. I think it is going to be a very, very interesting award season, because I think there's actually going to be a few surprises here, because
I hope so. I hope so.
Of what we're watching, movies that we wouldn't have really paid any attention to before. I know we've talked about this on this show, but I think there's going to be some surprises. Some people are going to say, huh? And anyway, Mercedes, you were shaking your head, so I just want to give you the last word if you want to jump in here.
I was just going to say, I mean, I don't know how the promotion has been going for this, because I feel like this is definitely a film for movie buffers. Like, if you're a movie buffer, you're going to really, really enjoy this. I don't know if it'll necessarily, if people who just like entertainment films would be interested in this. It's definitely for the awards. But the promotion-wise, did they really back this film? Was the backing really there? Because I didn't hear about it until, Reggie, you told me about it.
No, it came just a bookend. It got tremendous praise coming out of Sundance, right? Like, a lot of these, I will say kudos to Sundance programming, because a lot of the movies that we are talking about got their shot at Sundance. So whatever issues you may have, this part they got right? And it got tremendous buzz coming out of Sundance. But there was such a long lag from Sundance to getting the distribution that it's like now having its second leg. But those of us that saw it knew it was great.
Sean.
I remember most films that come out of Sundance don't get distributed and released until months after. You also have to factor in that the reason there was a lag because people had to push pause because there's this little thing that happened called a pandemic. So it changed everybody's market, because the movie wasn't officially released until November. I mean, they're not going to, it was a film that came out of, most films that come out of Sundance, you don't get promoted from the time you play at Sundance to your release. So the release, the way they released the marketing was correctly done, but you also had to deal with the pandemic. So it wasn't like they forgot about it. This movie just came out in November.
Well, with that, I want to move on to the next one. This seems like a watch it for everybody, and so hopefully, I hope
great movie.
I hope you're wrong, Mercedes. That people who are just regular entertainment folks who want to just see something, I hope they stumble on this one and watch it, because I think that they would like it. I hope you're wrong, but I think you're right. Anyway, there's a movie that we talked about last week, which we didn't talk about it in terms of what it did. We talked about what people were talking about it about, which was James Corden doing gay facing. And so this is the Prom. I'm going to start off. Mercedes, you didn't get to see this one, but I'm going to start off with you, Katia, because you.
I really did. I saw their Broadway play. For me, I do it to myself. I do when I love a show and then I hear it's going to be a film, I cringe. I'm still upset about Chicago because they killed Bob Fosse's choreography. But in this, they got the two leads are amazing, right? So, and they're also gay women in real life. So we didn't have to fake it there. The musical, the essence of the musical is in there. He kept that integrity. The songs are great. Love My Neighbor was done beautifully, which is one of the highlights of this musical, right? It's a great score. Pulling in the people who did the show. Now, I do agree that James Corden is a weak link in that. Barry is the heart of the show. He is a flamboyant gay guy. This was not done to insult people. You can go on YouTube and put in Prom musical Barry and you will see it, right? And it's just a fun show that tackles a very important subject, which is every child should be able to go to the prom as themselves. Kerry Washington as the mean girl was perfect, you know, because that is how you imagine the mom of the PTA, you know. But it is a well done thing. The only issue that I do have is I get why you want names, but in terms of Barry, in terms of even Nicole Kidman, I love Nicole Kidman, but Nicole Kidman is not a dancer, so you gotta cover that up. Pull the people in that do this work.
So here,
like, people are gonna see the musical because they love it, but there's so many amazing people on Broadway that do this 7 times a week.
Right. So that's my issue. So you went all the way into my issue. I thought that this is serviceable. This they talked about words like zazz and razzmatazz. It did not have the zazz and razzmatazz that I can imagine and conjure up if I were watching this on Broadway. I thought that Meryl Streep was good. I thought she did a really good performance, but I could see somebody else in that role. I thought that James Corden was okay. I mean, he sang decently. He didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't come out. His character wasn't. The gay facing thing actually is an insult to me because I don't think that he killed it on being that gay character.
No, he wasn't lively enough as Barry.
He wasn't lively. He wasn't lively enough.
You know, rainbows and fairy tales, all of those things.
It just wasn't all that for me. And Sean, your thoughts on this one?
I didn't like it. I mean, I get it. You know, I love the messaging, but man, you don't have to like be so in your face. Like this Ryan Murphy he does too much. He tries too hard. And it was just a bunch of.
That's the show. I say this all the time. It's not Ryan Murphy. That is the show, though. Yeah, you're critiquing the show.
Go ahead and finish.
Hold on. Can I finish? Jesus. No, I just think Ryan Murphy tries too hard. I mean, just the messaging is just too in your face, and it was, you know, on the surface, just a bunch of A-list actors who turned in C-list performances. You know, that's my opinion. I didn't enjoy it. It's just, whatever.
It's insulting for you to say that you're in your face. So gay people are supposed to not be themselves and tell their stories. Like, would you say this if this was crazy?
I said this.
Why do you then explain yourself when you say it's too in your face?
Because I like that. I like that question.
Yeah, they just try too hard. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel organic. You can tell it.
Sorry, what I'll say doesn't feel natural and organic for me is like, yeah, we just grabbed all these A-listers and put them in this film so that because we know they're supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. So it's kind of like, it's almost like waving their flags like, hey, we support you guys. We support you guys.
It didn't feel natural. You can, this story needs to be told, and I appreciate the messaging, but
I do too.
It's been done much better in other movies. It's been done much better in other television series. This just felt forced.
And once again, this is the show, though. You all are missing the point. But then you wouldn't have liked the Broadway musical.
I think I would.
That's the musical.
I think I would have liked the musical.
What Ryan Murphy did is just make it fit into the TV thing. It's the show. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. People are literally like, well, he did. No. He did not write the screenplay. He directed it. You can fault it and say that the angles are. All the songs are in there. They actually pulled out certain, the show is actually raunchier as far as the jokes, right? So they pulled some out.
Yeah, but here's my problem, Katya.
So you're saying the show is wrong too.
My problem is it didn't have the zazz. It didn't have.
No, the show is better. I'm
gonna stay on this one for me. You said that you're gonna put your stake in the ground. is that this one didn't move me. However he directed it, if it is the show, it didn't move me, and I believe.
And that's
100%.
fine, but
But I
he's
believe
getting a bad
100%
rap.
that if we were seeing this on Broadway, I would like it better. I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always better when you see the show, but people are literally coming at Ryan Murphy. And you can tell the people who don't like Ryan Murphy's work, which is fine because different strokes for different folks, but they're critiquing him on something where I'm like, these are the songs. Like at some point, you know, you're going to be able to see the whole musical. They'll probably do something like that to draw people back into Broadway. But these are the songs.
Right.
That is how the story goes. It is about two young girls who are in love that can't go to the prom. You know what I mean? And it is an important story. When people go, you know, there's been other musicals. There hasn't been a lot of music. I don't know what world we're living in. There hasn't been a lot of musical where gay people who have been able to play themselves have been out and proud. Now, there have been people who we know that are gay portraying things, but I do give him kudos. He made sure that the two leads were out gay women, not pretending.
And they did a good job. And they did a good job. I just don't think that those brand names killed it. And so for me, it's a mile watch it because the message I think is important. So I'm gonna give it a mile watch it. Mercedes. Oh, you didn't see it, but
I will say while it's on brand for Ryan Murphy, maybe because it's not on brand for so many other the A-listers who signed on to do it. Not necessarily that, you know, not on brand, but it's like they forced themselves in these roles to, I guess, show their support when they gave it to somebody who was really in the fight.
So this is a definite watch it for you, Kati. Kati.
For sure, because it's one of the few times where I can actually say you understand the show. I'm not looking at going like, this isn't the show. You killed a portion of the show. I do wish they would have hired the original Barry, who was just outstanding, drama desk, Tony nominated, all of that.
Yeah. Sean.
Hard pass, no. 2 out of 5.
You haven't had a pass in a while, so you saying no, let's move on.
Passing on this. I'm punting this.
All right, you punting it. All right. So the last one I just want to throw in just for a moment, if we can. I hope you guys saw it. It was Canvas, and the reason, man, did you see it, Katya?
I didn't see it. I didn't see that one.
Sorry, so I won't talk about it other than to say is that these short animation films for me are actually getting my attention. You know, when you look at things like Dear Basketball, Hair Love, and now Canvas, which is on Netflix, this is a story about loss, and man, it was beautiful to me. So I hope you guys check it out and we watch it. With that, it's time to turn our attentions to the issues. And we're actually on time, you guys. Let's turn our attention to the issues. So Sean, the first issue that we're going to talk about, and I'm just going to actually turn this over to you for you to introduce the topic, or bring it in, all of that, is CCA, which we are all members of, has a celebration of Black cinema, and the honorees have been announced. And Sean, take it away, man.
Yeah. The Critics Choice Association this week announced the 3rd annual celebration of Black cinema. We are very proud, extremely proud to produce this event. And we announced our honorees, which will be awarded on February 2nd, 2021. Like I mentioned, this is the 3rd year we've done this. This was an idea that I actually kicked around way back in 2014. So this event has a weird trajectory. We actually did the first celebration of Black film back in 2014 at the House of Blues in Los Angeles. It was a great event. We honored the women of 20 Feet from Stardom. And then due to a set of unfortunate circumstances, we weren't able to revive the event until last year when we did the 2nd annual celebration of Black film, where we awarded Eddie Murphy the Career Achievement Award. So we're happy we're able to do it this year. It's the 3rd annual, and the Career Achievement Award goes to, and very deserving to, Delroy Lindo, the British actor who has been killing it for years and years and years. So we're very proud of that. I know most people know him from Malcolm X, but man, he's got like a string of, he's got, so his filmography is amazing. So we're happy to announce that. The ensemble honoree goes to the entire cast of One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King. Just an outstanding movie. I know most people watching have not seen it because it hasn't been released yet, but when it does, please do. It's a must watch. One of my favorite movies of 2020. Absolutely love that movie.
So,
Uh,
so
yes.
Sean, before we talk about One Night in Miami, just for a minute, we're not going to review it here, but I'd like for our panel just to say something about Delroy Lindo because I will tell you is that he is such a powerhouse um, and you feel him. At least I do. I feel him in so many of these movies. Like you know that he was there. Katya, any thoughts?
No, I mean, I think I think he deserves, any recognition, and it's a shame that it took this long. I think this year he's going to get, he's going to get some Ting Ting awards that are well overdue. Unfortunately, because Chadwick's passing, it's overshadowing him a little bit, but I don't think he'll make the 5. I think he'll make the cut. I think that's important. And I think, give people their flowers while they're here. Like we shouldn't have to wait until somebody is gone and senile and all this other stuff before we give them an award.
Yeah, no, he's a kid. He's killer. Go ahead, Mercedes.
I was just gonna say, I mean, he's always been criminally unsung. And I mean, I give props to CAA for giving him some flowers because you're not going for the obvious choices. You know what I mean? Like let's big up our Black men and women who've been out here killing it and give stellar performances every time they get on screen. So
I can't talk about Delroy Lindo without because my wife loves him in This Christmas. So I just want to say,
Brooklyn for me, Brooklyn.
Crooklyn, baby, Crooklyn.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like I hope with this, like with his turn in the Five Bloods, give him work that is worthy of his talent. Like he's so talented, and you see him in these things, you're like, that's cute, but he can do you know what I mean? I hope it pushes him forward where he's getting not only the money. Oddly enough, The Good Fight did that, a TV show where he was an opportunity to be in the lead. He was able to play complex. You know what I mean? It gave him range. And Hollywood, give this man the work, the business.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Sean. I could not.
Don't be sorry, man. You can never talk enough about Delroy Lindo.
I could not just gloss over that and move on to One Night in Miami, man. But let's get back to One Night in Miami. I know people haven't seen it. We won't review it here, but this is absolutely a movie that people should see.
Best film of 2020 that I've seen.
Best film.
Best film I've seen all year.
All right, Katya, One Night in Miami.
It's in my top 10, I mean, as we speak, I'm working through my list. It's always hard because I got to remember everything that I've seen, and I'm revisiting some works. It's in my top 10. It is a very good, solid film, top to bottom. Which is, I feel like we're giving a lot of kudos to films that have good moments, but they're not top to bottom great thing.
Dialogue though, like the dialogue, of course it comes from the play, but the dialogue is just so powerful. Like to watch 4 Black men have a conversation is like, whoo, it was powerful.
Not about no bullshit. Like for conversation.
See, this is what I like.
Film is in this one room. In fact, I'm still engaged. The entire film is like, it did it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like I said, we should have several Black films in our top 25 because it's been a really, really good year for Black films. Like, we shouldn't be like, ooh, struggling with our list.
Trying to think of a movie, you'd be like, huh, what movie?
You know what I mean? Or we gotta just give kudos to it because it's the only Black film out there, but we really don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen in 2020. It's just too much.
You know what I mean? But this year we don't gotta do that. This year we don't gotta just point our flags and support our brothers and sisters. This year we actually can say, oh, this is good.
Actually, I'm gonna have to probably do a emergency show next week sometime that we talk about some of our top or best films.
We should
to do that because there are a lot to do that. Finish up on the CCA because
I will. Well, the actor award this year for the third annual celebration of Black cinema goes to Tessa Thompson for Sylvie's Love, which is an amazing movie. That also opens on Christmas Day, so not a lot of people have seen it yet. But man, talk about just a classic love story, done well, told well. So Tessa Thompson's receiving the actor award, and then we're honoring John Legend and his producing partner, Mike Jackson. They've had an incredible year. You know, they were behind Jingle Jangle, which released on Netflix, which became an instant holiday classic. I don't know about anyone else, but my family and I, that will be watched every year during the holidays. That movie just had me in my feels. And they've done some other good work. They've also produced a Netflix documentary, Giving Voice, which is amazing as well. I mean, they've been killing it for years, but they had an exceptional 2020. And then we're also going to honor Andra Day for her performance in The United States versus Billie Holiday, directed by Lee Daniels. That's another movie a lot of people haven't seen. It opens in January 2021, but trust me, when people see it, the Andra Day star is about to like rise, which is much deserved. She's also going to do a musical performance during the show, which will be virtual. John Legend's also going to do a musical performance during the show, and we got a couple other surprises that happen throughout the show, which will be virtual. And make sure everybody gets the link, and we'll have a good time celebrating Black film. It's definitely something I'm proud of. When I first became a member of the Critics' Choice Association, I think there were like 2 Black members. And I've been very instrumental in opening the door to allow more and more people of color to join the organization, particularly women. Because when I first joined, for the first 8 years, there were 0 Black women. So and now there are actually more Black women than there are Black men in the organization. So we're doing a good job. Just they gave me a seat at the table, so I'm trying to make it happen.
Well, we appreciate it. What you guys say, Mercedes, on that?
I'll have to try again next year.
We'll get you. I've been working for everybody, man. Just ask. I got you.
Yeah, and I just want to make the commentary that I appreciate that, Sean, because the women's voices are so important. I get
Very
tired.
important.
I get tired of Katya, but other than that, those women voices are so important. It's crazy for men to be talking about movies, and then you don't have that other half to talk about them as well. So I really appreciate the fact that
because you need the viewpoint from different perspectives, man. That's what it's about. We're here to agree and disagree.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, and talking about women, you put on the docket for us to talk a little bit about the passing of one of the women in our industry. So can you kick that off, and then we'll all kind of jump into
let women talk about it, because it's very important. And I feel a lot of different ways about it, because it's really a sad situation and sad story.
uh, Mercedes, can you talk about that?
Natalie Reid passed. I don't know if I guess it doesn't matter how she passed. We're going to still give her flowers. She passed, and it was a shock, I think, for most of the people who did not know her. So Natalie is known for films such as Baps, where she played Niecy. Yes, booyah. And so many others. I really don't have her filmography in front of me, but I'm sure we'll kick off some of our favorites too. But that was definitely one of my favorites to see her in, just living out loud, letting her light shine. She had a big, bubbly personality, and we've heard so many great things about the people who knew her and were close to her. So we send condolences to her family and her loved ones.
And so for me, that character, go ahead, Katya, and do your thing. That character definitely is memorable. But because I was watching a lot of TV at the time, Eve was because she was in all 66 episodes of that. And so that was the one that I kind of like really like, oh, yeah, that's the girl from whatever. So that's the one that stuck with me, Katya.
I mean, I believe it was colon cancer where she died.
Yes.
And it hits you with 2 things. We have our thing in our community, and I can understand privacy, but we suffer in silence. Do you know what I mean? And then we find out later that someone is sick, and Niecy Nash said that it was on her mind to call her, but like we all do, we say, oh, I'll get him next week. And she's like, this was a reminder from God to say, when I get that feeling, to just go ahead and do it, because she's like, my heart is heavy. And also, she was so talented, but so undercast, which again makes me think about let's learn from her. We don't know what to do with curvy, talented Black women, other than Queen Latifah. And I think it's because Queen Latifah started producing and started taking the reins of her career. This girl was funny, was talented. She could play serious. She could do everything. But we put her in this box, you know what I mean? And Babs wouldn't have worked without her. The synergy between her and Halle, the ridiculousness. And I love what Halle wrote about her. You know what I mean? You could tell that they were really became friends in this process. And I do hope that her passing makes us stop doubting women that look like her, that are beyond talented. I'm thinking of Amber Riley, you know, they don't know what to do with her either. And
my girl
also,
from 40 Years of Virgin. I am so glad.
yeah, and also I want us to also take our health serious, you know, go get screened, go get your checkup. You know, those of us that are blessed to have health insurance, go use that thing. You know what I mean? Like, get yourself, be uncomfortable in order for you to be comfortable. And I do hope, again, that this is a renaissance, that we go watch Babs, that we go watch Eve. We watch, what's the Tyler Perry movie that she was in with Bow Wow and them,
The family,
and prayers out to her family, you know?
Yeah, that was Medea's Big Happy Family. So she was in that as well. So Sean, last word to you, man.
No, everybody touched on it. I mean, the fact that, you know, she should have been a much bigger star. She deserves so much more, and we got to make this happen down the road. We can't continually say that this person's criminally underrated, this person's criminally ignored. You know, at some point the criminality needs to stop, and we just need to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's upon all of us to make that. That's the producers, the people who talk about movie. We got to come together and make it happen.
And so what was criminal is Reggie. I was criminal because I did not talk about the movie that you made me watch, which was Safety. And I want to back up because I am so, you and Katya be killing me because Katya be like, let's talk about this one. And then you be like, we got to talk about this one. Let's talk about Safety. So the movie, oh, really? Already? Oh man! Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna let you introduce this one in, Mercedes.
Because I'm such a fan of Reginald Hoodlett. I mean, okay, I love the true life story. I loved. Did it get a little whitewashed by Disney? I'm gonna have to say yes. That's a yay for me. It just didn't. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything.
Wow.
It was too washed.
So what's the story? What's the story? Tell everybody what this is about.
Ray McAlderby. Am I saying that right? McAlderby. The story of him. He was from Atlanta. Went to Clemson to go to school. Had a football scholarship at Clemson, a D1 school. His mother was on drugs, so he took guardianship of his younger brother. His younger brother was actually living with him on campus. He was sneaking with him on campus, living with him on campus. The organization found out, and Ray challenged their donations and all the giving that people were giving at the NCAA, the NCAA, because the NCAA pulled the horn on him. So it's that story, his real life story. And when it got, I don't know, I feel like it got into Disney's hand and they said, oh, we're going to jazz it up. This is such a beautiful
Wow. See, I disagree with that. Is that I like this better than The Blind Side. And let me tell you why. Is The Blind Side, they're going to give me this stupid black guy. He don't know nothing about the X's and O's. He don't know how to play football. Like, this is your mama. So act like you protect. Like, the dude was playing football before they met this person. But they make him so stupid. Did you talk about Disney jazzing it up? To me, it's like The Blind Side, just like, oh, but give me a sec here. Okay. Is that what Disney did to me and Hudlin and them is that they said, no, we're going to show the other side of that. We're going to show the determination of the black person. We're going to show the black person actually trying to move his own career or make his own destiny. And I was so appreciative of it coming from the fact of the young man. Yeah, some white people helped him. Yeah, the team helped him, but it was focused on him and his determination. And that's what worked for me.
I'm saying they made it too pretty. Ain't nothing about this story pretty. Your mother on drugs and you got to take care of your younger brother. Ain't nothing about that pretty. Like I feel like they tried to make this a fairy tale happily ever after story, which it might have been, but I feel like the grunginess, like we lost some of the authenticity of it. When your mama is a crackhead, that ain't how the story is portrayed. Go ahead.
Come on in, Sean.
We're missing the biggest point. This movie was designed to be that way because it's for Disney Plus, and this is the greatest example of what we've been talking about. It's perfectly fine that a Black director gets to make something that's generically acceptable. This is what we've been fighting for. This is what we've been talking about. Like,
but we want to tell our stories. If we want to tell our stories,
but you have to tell them in different. You have to be allowed to tell them in different types of ways so that they garner an audience, and that's why there's a technical aspect to different types of storytelling. He wasn't trying to make a precious version of this guy's story, which could have easily been done, but then you don't have the same viewership, and then perhaps that's for a different platform. All of this was by design, and it's the generic rah-rah sports movie from a Black POV. And it's for the Disney Plus platform. It wasn't meant to be hardcore and gritty, which you could have easily done.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say this though, right? I understand what Mercedes is saying, but the moment it was made for Disney Plus, like Sean said, we weren't going to get that because the idea, first was a family channel, right?
Right.
That's what it is. They're right now contemplating adding on a section that would have more tougher things, but letting you know that part of the streaming service is for things that are. Because at the end of the day, parents sign up to put their little kids, give them a distraction. And I think what they want is for you to understand that you can overcome anything. You are not, excuse me, like I would say, you are the author of your own book. It's not how you start. You don't control how you come into the world. You don't control how you go out, but everything in between, you get to rewrite those pages. I do like the fact that they didn't have the mom looking like a crackhead. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired of seeing Black women looking like criminal, disgenerous when they have an addiction problem. I'm glad that they focused on the fact that her issue was not that she didn't love her kids. You can't be an addict and be a good parent. Those two things don't work. Better people have tried. And I'm glad that he recognized the fact that she had an addiction problem. That part I liked very much. I like the fact that he still loved his mom because he understood what was going on. I also like the fact that he had support. And too often, in my opinion, in these movies, we emphasize the fact that these guys are athletes. We don't talk about enough about all the guys who go to school who are tremendous athletes, but are also really good students, right? We don't talk about that part, how so many of them understand that even if I make it to the NFL, my career may only be 3 to 5 years. So while I'm here, let me soak up all this free education so that I can have a life after this. I did like that. But I do understand, I feel like we kind of like, there was a lot of information given to us in this little bit of time. Maybe this would have worked in a part 1, part 2, who knows? But I wasn't expecting it for it to be like, when they see us, because it was Disney Plus. That ship had sailed.
Why they did what they did and why they told the story the way they did. And we can appreciate that. But did you enjoy the movie?
Yes.
I didn't. Okay, I'm going to say
I enjoyed the Go ahead.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I think part of that was some of the actors that were chosen for the parts. I empathize with the story, but is it something that I'm going to revisit time and time again? Or if we're having kids at the house and I'm like, oh, this is a movie we should watch, I would more or less say for you, I would rather get like the book and hand that out.
Wow.
Because the performances really weren't like, they weren't drawing me in. I was more drawn in by the story.
I was drawn in by the story, but I enjoyed this. I think that they did the right thing for Disney Channel, and then when I look again, like a movie like Blindside, is that when they dressed up her going into the hood, telling a drug dealer what she was gonna do and how she was gonna do it and all this type of stuff. So yeah, they went to the gritty part, but then they made it so unrealistic to me. But here, I like the fact what you just said. The mother didn't look like she was some drug addict. Yeah, they went back to the hood for a minute, but they just showed that yeah, there's some tough times here, but these people are going to overcome it. The thing that I didn't like about the film is that I was wondering when was he going to get the kiss. So I'm like, is the brother going to get to kiss the girl? I mean, what's up? So.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we should have had, some crazy looking characters on here, but I do feel like even as far as casting goes, it was Disney. It had that Disney sparkle to it. We're gonna get some smiling.
Because it's for Disney.
I'm good with that.
What are we missing?
So for me, it's a watch it. Mercedes.
Hell no, I'm not watching this.
Heck, she said heck to the gnaw. Katia. Maybe. And Sean.
No, I mean, you gotta we talk about this all the time in our staff meeting when we're in production. Respect the demo. If you understand the demo for this, it makes it a watch.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, we got two other issues we want to kind of get into before we get out of here, and we getting close to time. The first issue is HBO Max Blowback. What happened, Sean? What happened? Now what happened to HBO?
Nothing happened. You got a bunch of sensitive directors in their fields because they think that they either feel like they got lied to or they feel like their wallet's about to be light. they figured out they not really controlling the situation. But in retrospect, if you look at everything they said, I don't think they saw the announcement that Disney Plus dropped on everybody yesterday, because that actually changes the game more, particularly for the theatrical model, than the Warner Brothers HBO Max announcement. I mean, Disney basically.
Well, on that, Sean, give us the Disney announcement for the people who might not have heard what the Disney announcement was.
They just further confirmed everything that we've been talking about. The long play in the industry of content delivery is streaming. That's why they were like, we're going to have X amount of subscribers by 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Like the ship has sailed on these studios and streamers focusing on the theatrical model, because the financial play that makes not only the investors happy, but also the consumers happy is the theatrical platform, because they can deliver so much more content that people actually want. Disney didn't go out and buy those expensive IPs for no reason. They're going to give you a whole bunch of Star Wars. They're going to give you a whole bunch of Marvel. They're going to give you a whole bunch of everything that they went out and purchased. And to be quite honest, that's what the people want. And the theatrical model is in trouble because a lot of what they announced, more than 100 new titles, is episodic. That can't exist theatrically anyway.
Yeah.
No. People gonna be watching stuff from home anyway.
No, that is true. And Katia, you have been saying for some time, like, hell to the no, you're not going to the theater anyway. So,
but here's the thing: is we need the theatrical people need to have their come to Jesus moment and need to figure out how do we make this worthy other than what's on the screen. And also, we got to remember, stuff comes a lot quicker to digital, to DVDs than it used to. So again, it shouldn't have taken a pandemic for you to clean a theater thoroughly. That is not a pandemic. That's customer service 101.
Repeat that.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times are we going to the theater and be like, my man, like, we still got 2 weeks ago popcorn underneath my shoes.
Repeat that.
You know what I mean? You try to kick back in your chair and your chair is kicking you forward. So now you got to move, like, all this stuff. It should not be happening. But because they have the Christopher Nolan movie, we're willing to be uncomfortable. We're willing to eat this bad food because we coming to see the movie. But now Warner Brothers has said, you ain't got to do all that. You can sit in your nice sofa, my nice clean sofa, my nice surround sound, and do that. And again, if this is supposed to be like, family movies are a huge part of going to the movies. I don't care what I don't care if you like Frozen 2. I don't care if you hate all them songs, but there's a reason why they made the 2, because all them little kids are going to come and sing these songs and wear these costumes. But we are slowly pricing out those consumers.
Family.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you gotta, like, again, they don't make, like Sean said, they don't make their money off the ticket sales. They make their money off of the concessions. And why am I going out on a Saturday with screaming kids to eat some bad chicken fingers? Like, we can do that at home, you know?
No, and also,
So,
Reggie, don't you have an MBA?
Yeah, I do.
you know what I mean? I'm
so
just
you,
saying.
like Katia said, it shouldn't have taken a pandemic to let you know that your business model was wrong.
Yeah, nah.
And
I
also, this is my thing, and this is what I've been saying, and I know people been getting upset with me about this, but I don't care. I'm not shedding a tear for any of these movie chains because none of these movie chains ever wanted to build any of the facilities nowhere near a Black or brown community, particularly AMC. So they can all crumble to dust and go bankrupt 10 times. I will not shed a tear, nor do I care, particularly AMC, because AMC always kept their multiplexes in the suburbs. They never
That
came
is true,
to
100%.
Black or brown neighborhood.
I
Ever.
think this is
And
a
when a
great
neighborhood
opportunity
got-
for independent theaters.
And
Like,
when a
go,
neighborhood
there is
got
an
too
independent
brown,
theater
they
10
bounced.
minutes from me. They show current movies and they show older movies. They do a beautiful job. White on for Black History Month. They have their popcorn is on point. The theater is clean.
Wow.
When they're not using the theater for movies, they do Christmas concerts. Like, they have figured out they're always a part of the community when there's sidewalk sales, whatever the thing that be going on. And the community, guess what, has rallied around and donated to that theater to make sure that theater stays open. If you do right by the community will come
That's
back
the
and
future.
support you.
The future are going to be smaller, independently owned movie theaters that are supportive of the community, because then you can do stuff like film festivals and film seminars and specialty programming. Multiplexes are going to be gone for good. They
Can we
can't
also
compete.
talk about the fact that, you know, you don't want to kick a man while he's down, but he's a big boy. Christopher Nolan really doesn't understand his hand in this. Like, you do not, let's keep it 1,000. If Tenet was the success that they're trying to tell us that it was, we wouldn't be here. Also, once again, how do you successfully open up theaters, have a theater release with Los Angeles and New York still closed? And right now we are going back on lockdown because people couldn't have a seat. I know we're doing it in my state from 12/12 to 1/4, no indoor gatherings, right? Even New Jersey's going, you know what I mean? Because some people try to be cute. They try to go to New Jersey because they couldn't see stuff in New York. And New Jersey's like, no, our cases have gone up with you coming over into our state. So they're locking down. So even on a business model, it doesn't work without New York or LA. So make it make sense.
So I got to keep us working because we're a little bit over time. But the last issue we got to get to. But Mercedes, if you want to say anything about this issue about HBO Max and
well, I don't shed a tear for these bigger corporations who pretty much are missing out. I do have to get back to the movie experience. The movie experience is always magical. It transforms you. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the theater experience.
All right. You might be one of the few, because I'm going.
I don't miss these
I'm
public
going somewhere buying me some
at all.
I'm looking at Katya's big chair right there.
I do not miss public.
I'm like Biggie Smalls. Send me the link.
I'm like looking someplace.
Me too. I can hear the whole movie. I don't got a phone going off.
Man, send me the link.
I'm just saying, send me the DVD. Don't send me the link. Send me the DVD so I can watch it when I want to watch it. Don't give me the link. Got two watches on it. Just give me the DVD. But anyway, last thing, and this is real important. So hopefully we got a little time to talk about it. And this is Nate Parker's American Skin is finally released. And what's really interesting about this, I haven't seen it. I saw the trailer. The trailer of this scares the heck out of me, and I think it's going to scare the heck out of anybody in America to kind of watch this one. But they finally found a distributor. They got a release date. But there's been some reviews on this one, and they haven't been that great.
I heard it wasn't good, y'all. I haven't seen it myself, so I never like to go off somebody else's opinion until I see it myself. The trailer looks phenomenal. I heard the movie wasn't up to par.
Well, we're missing the point, though. Before we even get to the movie or the trailer, I mean, man.
Parker, can we just I'm so tired of problematic men thinking that, oh, I've been laying low for a year or two, I should be allowed to make a living. I don't really care about you. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. A young woman took her life because of what you had your hand in. That is somebody's child. If that was my daughter, I would spend the rest of my life burning everything you have your hand in down. And I mean that on everything that I love. His whole existence bothers me. It's not because he's a black man. Before people say that I don't like black men, I have a problem with problematic men, whether you're black, white, gay, straight, bi, whatever. We need to stop. And I also need other men. You do not get to tell us as women when somebody's time is up and being bad. I hate when men do that. Oh, I believe in second chances. I don't give a damn what you believe in. That don't mean I got to spend my time, my energy, my coin, or anything that I have to give him mortals. You know what I mean? Because
But that doesn't mean, but that also doesn't mean, Katya, but that also doesn't mean that people can't want to give them second chances. That also can't mean that there are women that I know who want to give them second chances.
Women are just as problematic. It's not just men.
I'm saying your piece is real. You saying, and I think that if it's my daughter, I'm probably in the same spot. But at the same time, it's not a but, it's an and. There are people who are going to say you can't get a second chance, and then there are going to be some people who are going to say, yeah, you can get a second chance.
And my problem is him. He hasn't gotten the memo. It's like, I don't even think he understands the stuff that has come out of his mouth that has made this thing worse. And I don't like when people, if I'm your friend, right? Like, we have disagreements here on the show. That's fine. We're disagreeing about art. We're never disagreeing about each other as people and each other's character. Now, if I am doing mess as a friend, if you are really my friend, I expect you to pull me to the carpet and say, you are associating with mess, whichever is a reflection upon you, that means that you're messy. And if you know that I'm doing that and you as a friend don't call me on it, then you're not my friend. And I feel like a lot of these men are like, I don't know, because they just feel like men are being out to drag. No, we're not dragging good men. If you're a good dude, you work with that ton of men that work with women every single day. You never had a complaint about them. They never gotten out of pocket. They have conducted themselves accordingly. No problems. But then there's a bunch of them who are just pieces of crap. And they have finally had their card pulled. And I'm sorry, instead of us championing Nate, there's a lot of young brothers out there, good filmmakers that deserve that type of support, ain't never been in no mess, but we not supporting them. So no, for me, speaking for Katya, I will not be supporting anything that Nate Parker does. He can go kick rocks.
I feel you. I feel you. Sean, you had some thoughts because you put it on the docket.
No. I'm kind of in that same situation. There are too many other filmmakers out here that we can celebrate and talk about. I just, it's a problematic situation. And yeah, I mean, you gotta, as a journalist, you gotta make that decision, deep down inside. But it's definitely something to think about. I just, I have issues with this situation. I didn't post a trailer. I didn't talk about it on any of my platforms. I just don't feel the time is right. Spike Lee executive produced this thing, which pretty much cemented that he will probably never ever win an Oscar for being best director. You gotta be careful, man. It is a tough and very unfortunate situation. But I'm right there with Katya. It's there are too many other filmmakers, particularly Black male filmmakers, we could talk about and celebrate. I mean, at some point, this has got to stop. I got daughters, sisters, a mother.
And I feel the same way about Woody Allen. We need to pull the plug on Woody Allen. Enough already. And I don't care if his wife gives $10 million. The whole situation is disgusting. It's wrong. I'm tired. Kate Winslet, we told you that he was problematic now because you want to tink. Now all of a sudden you guys were right. Go Woody Allen too. Put him on that heap of fire and blame.
It's crazy out here because we have colleagues in the same situation. It's
Yeah. Now it is. Mercedes, last point on this because we gotta get out.
I mean, what does that say for Spike Lee to pretty much give it the stamp and co-sign in. I tossed that to the two who have been very vocal about that. Been vocal about this. Spike giving the cosign. I mean, and didn't Nate need that cosign? He needed that cosign.
No, I think he did need that cosign. I think you're right.
He needed a cosign, but I wouldn't have given it to. That's just me. I wouldn't have given it to him.
Yeah,
give it
I'm
to
not
somebody
sure.
else. Give
I'm
it
not
to
sure I
a
would've
young
said it.
woman, a young brother.
So my question is, and this would be a whole conversation. Can you judge the work without judging the man? Just a question. I'm talking about Woody Allen. I'm talking about Nate Parker. I'm talking about all of them. Can you judge the work without judging the person?
I'm gonna say
not in 2020.
No, because you can't make work without however you feel. If you're putting yourself in your art, something along the lines of your art is gonna sprinkle in. Even with well, I can't even say with Lovecraft Country, but if we know the people with R. Kelly and all these people, clearly what he thought, what he was going through was in the art. So somewhere, however, you know what I'm saying? It was. So somewhere along the line, subconsciously or whatever, is going to be in your art too. So we can't support it. It's not different. It's no difference.
So I can't never play bump and grind. Okay, I hear you. All right. Fine.
You can do you can do what you want, man. It's an individual choice, man. It just when you're out here on your platform, though, like it makes a difference. You know how I think in private is completely different on how I go out here and represent myself when I'm on Fox or represent myself when I'm on this show. You have to be careful.
Yeah, what you do in a private, like, also, you know what? I do start thinking about when you watch this work and you're going like, who did you hurt in order to accomplish that? Who did you, do you know what I mean? Like Brett Ratner humiliating Ellen, who's now Elliot, you know, by telling everybody that at the time she was identifying as a lesbian, you know, that it doesn't matter because she's a lesbian. Like, you're trash. I don't want you to get any clicks off of me. Like, I do think about what were the working conditions now that we know you're a piece of trash.
I like that. And when we talk about representation, look, you guys represented well. I really appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hey, this is the Real Critic Roundtable. I am Reggie Ponder. This is where Black critics come to discuss, debate, and have some fun. We did all of that this week, and we out. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.